The stage lights were blinding, the crowd was buzzing, and the cameras were rolling when one of the most jaw-dropping moments in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta history unfolded. Yandy Smith, usually calm and collected, completely broke down in tears as Rasheeda Frost unleashed a bombshell that nobody saw coming. With a trembling voice, Rasheeda leaked what she claimed was Kirk's secret pregnancy scandal, and the entire cast froze in shock. Gasps echoed, jaws dropped, and within minutes, social media was on fire, with hashtags exploding faster than anyone could keep track. What started as a heated argument quickly spiraled into chaos that may change the future of their friendships forever. But the real question remains, did Rasheeda truly reveal the truth, or is this all part of a bigger trap set against Yandy? Buckle up, because this scandal is about to take you on a wild ride. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has always been a storm of emotions, secrets, and betrayals. But this time, the storm was darker, louder, and more personal than ever before. For years, viewers have watched the tangled relationships between Rasheeda Frost, her husband Kirk Frost, and their on-again, off-again drama with Jasmine Washington. Add Yandy Smith Harris into the mix, and suddenly the show transformed from a messy reality saga into something that felt like a bomb ticking down to zero. The season had been building tension slowly, almost like producers knew a powder keg was about to explode. Rasheeda had been walking around with a guarded smile, her eyes hinting that something was bothering her. Fans speculated online for weeks, suggesting that Rasheeda had discovered something major, but was keeping it quiet until the right moment. Yandy, meanwhile, tried to stay above the fray. She often positioned herself as the voice of reason on the show, someone who stepped into conflicts with a calm attitude. But viewers knew that when Yandy cracked, the entire dynamic of the cast shifted behind the cameras. Rumors were already circulating. Industry insiders whispered that Rasheeda had gotten hold of some information she wasn't supposed to have. Private messages, late-night calls, maybe even receipts connecting Kirk to someone outside of his marriage yet again. Kirk Frost's history with scandal was long and messy. But the word secret pregnancy carried a weight even heavier than usual. It was the kind of rumor that could ruin reputations, destroy marriages, and send shockwaves far beyond reality. As production rolled on, Yandy found herself caught in the middle. She wasn't directly tied to Kirk's past, but her friendship with Rasheeda had always been a balancing act. Sometimes they were sisters in arms, lifting each other up against the harsh spotlight of the industry. Other times, their relationship cracked under the weight of jealousy, competition, and whispered betrayal. This season, the cracks were wide enough for the entire cast and the world to notice. Fans began pointing out subtle clues in recent episodes. When Yandy entered a scene, Rasheeda's face would harden, her smile slipping away like a mask being pulled off. In one dinner sequence, Rasheeda barely made eye contact with her, sipping her drink while Yandy tried to mediate a fight between other cast members. The tension wasn't explosive yet, but it was there, lurking just beneath the surface. And then came the Cabo trip. The cast gathered for what was supposed to be a celebratory getaway, but the energy was anything but light. Insiders later revealed that this trip was where Rasheeda began dropping hints to the other cast members' offhand comments about truth always coming to light, and women hiding behind fake friendships. Yandy brushed it off at first, but she couldn't ignore the way other people at the table shifted uncomfortably whenever Rasheeda spoke. Something was brewing, and it was only a matter of time before it spilled over in front of the cameras. Producers, of course, leaned into the tension. The camera angles lingered on Yandy's reactions, the awkward silences after Rasheeda's cryptic comments, and the knowing looks exchanged by the rest of the cast. Viewers at home were glued to the screen, waiting for the explosion. The hashtag #WhatIs RASHEEDA hiding even trended on Twitter for 2 days straight after that episode aired. Fans dissected every frame, convinced that Rasheeda was sitting on evidence that could blow the season wide open. And then there was Kirk, silent, stone-faced, and seemingly detached. Whenever his name came up, he avoided eye contact, playing it cool but giving just enough side-eye to fuel suspicion. Kirk's scandals weren't new to the franchise, but the way he carried himself this time was different. Almost like he knew the walls were closing in but had no way to stop it. For Yandy, the stress was unbearable. She confided in producers, off camera, that she felt set up, like Rasheeda was preparing to embarrass her in the worst way possible. She worried that being connected to Kirk's mess, even indirectly, could drag her reputation through the mud. Yandy's entire brand had been built on being strong, resilient, and untouchable, but everyone has a breaking point. The whispers got louder. Bloggers posted blurry screenshots claiming to show private DMs. Fan pages speculated about a mysterious woman who might be involved. Some even claimed Jasmine Washington was back in the picture, ready to cause chaos all over again. Every theory pointed back to one terrifying phrase: secret pregnancy scandal. By the time filming reached its peak, Yandy and Rasheeda were sitting on opposite ends of the couch, both visibly tense, both ready to explode. Rasheeda's lips curled into a sly smile, as if she was carrying a weapon that could end the season in a single sentence. Yandy, on the other hand, shifted nervously, her hands clutched tight, eyes darting between Rasheeda and the cameras. The setup was complete. The room was thick with unspoken truths, shaky alliances, and the knowledge that once Rasheeda opened her mouth, nothing would ever be the same. The night was already tense, but nobody could have predicted just how fast things would spiral. The cameras had barely settled when Rasheeda leaned forward in her chair, eyes locked on Yandy with a look that could slice through steel. Everyone at the table froze. They knew that look. Rasheeda wasn't here to talk in riddles anymore. She was here to draw blood. "See, Yandy?" Rasheeda started, her tone low and deliberate. "You out here preaching about loyalty and honesty? But tell me why every time Kirk's name comes up, you, the first one to look nervous?" The room went silent. Yandy blinked, taken aback. She hadn't even spoken yet, but Rasheeda's words hit like a dagger. Mendeces shifted in his seat, clearly uncomfortable, while Spice raised her eyebrows. Sipping her drink like she was watching pay-per-view drama, Yandy tried to brush it off. "Rasheeda, don't do that. Don't start throwing shade when you don't even know what you're talking about." Her voice cracked just slightly, and the cameras zoomed in to capture it. But Rasheeda wasn't backing down. She leaned closer, her smile twisting into something sharp. "Oh, I know what I'm talking about. Don't act like I don't have receipts. Don't act like I don't know about the late-night calls, the texts, the little conversations that were never supposed to see the light of day." Gasps broke out around the room. "Erka?" Mena covered her mouth, while Spice muttered under her breath, "Oh, it's about to go down." Yandy's hands trembled slightly as she placed her glass back on the table. "If you think you got something, say it. Don't sit here trying to humiliate me in front of everybody. That's not cute." That's when Rasheeda pulled out her phone. She didn't even unlock it. Just the gesture alone had the entire room erupting in chatter. "See, I don't have to say it right now," she teased, holding it up like a loaded weapon. "But trust me, the truth always comes out." In that moment, Yandy's cool exterior cracked. Her breathing grew shallow, her eyes darted between Rasheeda and the rest of the cast, and it was clear she knew this wasn't just petty shade. Rasheeda had something real, and she was threatening to drop it for the world to see. Producers leaned into the chaos, letting the cameras roll uninterrupted. Fans would later describe this moment as the calm before the nuclear bomb. Because even though Rasheeda didn't spill everything yet, the message was loud and clear. Yandy's reputation was about to be dragged through the mud. The energy in the room shifted instantly. Conversations broke out in hushed whispers. Bambi looked directly into the camera, shaking her head like she couldn't believe what she was witnessing. Jasmine Washington, watching from the sidelines, smirked knowingly as if she already knew what Rasheeda was holding back. And then, just as quickly as it started, Rasheeda leaned back, put her phone down, and said, "I'm not going to say it tonight, but when I do, everybody's going to finally see Yandy for who she really is." The cliffhanger was set. The cast was in chaos. Yandy was visibly rattled, and the audience at home. They were left screaming at their screens, desperate to know what secret Rasheeda was about to leak out. The tension in the room was unbearable. The air was thick with silence. But the cast's eyes darted from Rasheeda to Yandy, like they were watching two lions circle before the kill. Rasheeda sat back, her arms folded, lips pursed, letting the silence drag out just long enough for the cameras to soak up every ounce of suspense. Then, with a kind of delivery only reality TV could capture, she leaned forward and let the bomb drop. The bomb drop. Hashtag Pray for Charlie trended first. Then came hashtag Stage Assassination. Conspiracy theories bloomed instantly. Some claimed multiple shots were fired. Others swore they saw a figure moving near the rafters. A shaky live stream caught a panicked voice yelling, "He's not the only one. They said there's a list." And that's where the night's first shocking twist entered the picture. According to leaks from inside law enforcement, police swept the arena. They discovered a black backpack tossed near a maintenance exit. Inside were items no one expected. To find spare rounds, zip ties, gloves, and a folded piece of paper with scrawled writing. Not just random notes, but names. A list. Sources close to the investigation immediately leaked that Kirk's wasn't the only name on the paper. Several other high-profile figures, both political and celebrity, were allegedly circled. And chillingly, one of the names had a date next to an upcoming music festival in Los Angeles, though officials refused to confirm the authenticity of the leak. The internet didn't wait. Screenshots claiming to show the list spread like wildfire. Some swore Taylor Swift's name appeared near the top. Others argued it included Elon Musk, a senator, and even a late-night talk show host. Whether real or fabricated, the panic was undeniable. One anonymous source even told an online forum that backpack wasn't dropped by accident. It was planted. It was meant to be found. If true, that changes everything. The gunman may not have been trying to get away. He wanted fear to spread. He wanted the world to know that Kirk was just the beginning. Back inside the arena, chaos still raged. Some fans trampled over each other in blind panic, while others dropped to their knees, praying out loud. A woman live-streamed herself sobbing as she whispered, "They shot him. Oh my God, they shot him. Who's next? Who's next?" That clip alone reached 12 million views in under an hour. And then came another devastating detail: Kirk's final words. According to multiple witnesses, as security lifted him from the ground, Kirk whispered something barely audible. One fan sitting in the front row claimed to have caught it on camera. In the blurry clip, Kirk mouths what looks like, "They knew. They knew." Who knew? Was Kirk referring to his security team, the venue, his inner circle? Or was it a warning that someone higher up was aware of the threat and did nothing? The ambiguity only fueled the chaos. With hashtags like #WhatDidTheyKnow igniting alongside the graphic footage. By the time Kirk was rushed to the hospital, America wasn't just in shock, was spiraling into paranoia. And then another bombshell. Investigators revealed that the bullet which struck Kirk wasn't fired from inside the auditorium. It had entered through a ventilation opening fired from outside the building. The shooter had never even been in the arena. He had aimed, waited, and executed with surgical precision. That meant security had no chance of stopping it. The shooter was already gone before the first scream echoed. This revelation terrified the public. If Kirk could be struck so easily in a venue swarming with cameras and guards, who else was vulnerable? No stage, no rally. No concert felt safe anymore. And then came the darkest twist of all. According to another insider leak, the backpack didn't just contain names. It contained maps. Red X's marked across major U.S. cities: Washington, New York, Los Angeles, Nashville. Whether these were genuine targets or psychological warfare didn't matter. The fear they sparked was immediate and unstoppable. The Utah shooting was no longer seen as a single tragedy. It was the opening chapter of something larger, something coordinated, something planned. And if Kirk was just the beginning, then the list in that backpack might be the roadmap for what's still to come. The world was already reeling from the chaos inside Utah Valley University. But what happened in the hours that followed made the shooting feel less like a tragic attack and more like the opening act of a national nightmare. Every new leak, every rumor, every social media post poured gasoline on a fire that was spiraling out of control. Within minutes of Kirk being rushed into emergency surgery, Twitter's X's algorithm melted under the weight of hashtags, #preforge, filled with emotional tributes from fans, while #stage assassination exploded with conspiracy theories. A blurry photo of the abandoned backpack trended within 30 minutes, captioned, "The list is real." Another viral tweet claimed Taylor Swift is on it. They're going after the biggest names alive. Swifties mobilized instantly, turning #ProtectTaylor into the #1 global trend. But here's where things took a terrifying turn. At 11:42 p.m., an anonymous account posted grainy images allegedly showing the folded note from inside the backpack. Written in jagged handwriting were 5 names, all circled in red ink, though the names were blurred in the leaked screenshot. Amateur sleuths on Reddit zoomed in, enhanced, and cross-referenced until they swore they had decoded them. Charlie Kirk, Taylor Swift, Elon Musk, a U.S. senator, and shockingly a late-night host whose comedy sketches had mocked Kirk for years, if true. This wasn't political terrorism aimed at one side of the spectrum. It was something broader, or insidious, a declaration of war on influence itself. And then came the footage that changed everything. At 12:15 a.m., a Reddit thread exploded with a leaked surveillance video allegedly pulled from a back hallway of the venue. In it, a hooded figure could be seen slipping through a side door minutes before the shot rang out. He didn't run. He didn't panic. He walked calmly, head down, disappearing into the night. The internet christened him instantly the Ghost. But the most chilling detail wasn't his face. Enhanced frames appeared too. Show a patch, a snake coiled around a microphone. Online investigators connected it to a rumored extremist faction whispered about in political forums for months. An underground network allegedly dedicated to silencing voices through spectacle. Until now, many thought it was just a myth. Tonight, it looked terrifyingly real. Meanwhile, mainstream media scrambled to catch up. CNN speculated live about whether the shooting could trigger a wave of copycat attacks. Fox News declared Kirk a martyr for free speech. MSNBC focused on the chilling possibility of a coordinated campaign. Every anchor, every pundit, every politician weighed in, but none of them could agree on one thing. Who was actually behind this? Celebrities, however, didn't hesitate to jump in. Cardi B furious in an Instagram rant. "This not funny. Y'all laughing, making memes. But a man bleeding on stage is no joke. What's wrong with this country?" Kanye West, cryptic on Twitter. "The ghost is real. The sound is silence." Who else has to fall before you listen? Elon, Musk, Blunt. If the list is true, security for public figures is broken. We're wide open. Billie Eilish canceling an upcoming concert? We can't take chances. Not with what's happening. But the most explosive response came from Taylor Swift's team. At 1:07 a.m., her official account posted, "Taylor is safe. We've increased security." No further comment at this time. It was meant to calm her fans. Instead, it triggered hysteria. Why mention increased security if there wasn't a real threat? Within minutes, paparazzi footage surfaced of dozens of black SUVs pulling up to her Nashville estate. Fans screamed outside the gates, crying as they begged for her safety. And then came the second shocking reveal at a press conference around 2 a.m. Utah investigators confirmed the bullet that struck Kirk was not fired from inside the auditorium. Instead, it was shot from outside through a ventilation opening with sniper-level precision. The shooter had never entered the building at all. That revelation changed everything. It meant the hooded man in the hallway might not have been the gunman. He could have been part of a larger team. Suddenly, the conspiracy theories multiplied. Was the ghost the shooter, or just a messenger? Was the backpack planted intentionally to spread fear? And most disturbingly, if the shooter wasn't even in the building, how many others are out there, waiting at rooftops, ventilation shafts, and unseen corners of the next stadium, ready to pull the trigger? TikTok filled with eerie clips of fans swearing they saw shadows moving on rooftops. One viral post showed a shaky silhouette near the arena's air ducts moments before the shot. The caption read, "The ghost isn't one man, it's a network." By sunrise, paranoia gripped the nation. Parents swore they wouldn't let their kids attend concerts. Fans debated whether stadium tours should be canceled entirely. Reddit threads began compiling suspect patches, with users photographing hooded strangers in subway stations, malls, and outside venues. And then the darkest reveal yet. At 3:42 a.m., a chilling video dropped on the dark web, quickly mirrored onto Twitter before takedowns could stop it. In the clip, a distorted voice delivered a terrifying message. Charlie Kirk was the rehearsal. The real show has yet to begin. The stage will fall silent. And when the music stops, you'll know who controls the sound. The video ended with slow, deliberate clapping. Those 5 seconds of applause sent shivers across the globe. Was this confirmation of the rumored list? Was Taylor Swift's Eras Tour the next target? Or was it a taunt meant to destabilize the country through fear? Nobody knew, but the cliffhanger was undeniable. By dawn, America wasn't just shocked, it was terrified. The Utah shooting had morphed into... By sunrise, the Utah shooting wasn't just an isolated tragedy, had spiraled into a cultural earthquake. The public reaction was unlike anything America had seen in years. Grief, rage, conspiracy, and hysteria colliding in a storm that refused to calm down. Outside Utah Valley Hospital, hundreds of Kirk supporters gathered in candlelight vigils that started small and swelled into a full-blown movement. Young fans clutched handmade posters reading "Charlie, don't give up on us," while older supporters knelt in prayer circles, sobbing into live cameras. Clips of teenagers whispering, "Please, God, save him," racked up millions of views on TikTok, fueling a narrative that Kirk wasn't just a speaker anymore. He was becoming a martyr in real time, but only blocks away. Counter-protesters appeared, waving signs that mocked the tragedy. One less voice of hate. Videos of the two groups screaming across police barricades spread across CNN and Fox News. America wasn't uniting in mourning, it was tearing apart deeper than ever. Online, the battlefield was even bloodier. Twitter X was split into two. Warring hashtags #PrayForCharlie and #StageAssassination. Under the first, supporters poured out emotional tributes and Bible verses. Under the second, skeptics claimed the whole thing was staged. One viral post with over 900,000 likes read, "Funny how every angle caught him falling, but none caught the shooter. Wake up, sheep." Another thread claimed the bullet trajectory didn't add up, fueling theories of a government cover-up. Celebrities didn't stay silent. Either Cardi B, furious on Instagram, "Y'all making memes while a man's bleeding?" On stage, "Y'all are sick." Kanye West, cryptic, "The sound stops when they want it to." Who decides the silence? Elon Musk, blunt, "Public events aren't safe." That's the truth nobody wants to say. 50 Cent, unapologetic after backlash. I wasn't mocking. I was warning y'all blind if you don't see the play, but it was Taylor Swift's response that sent shockwaves. Her official account posted a brief statement. Taylor is safe. Security measures have been increased. That single line was enough to whip her fan base into frenzy. Hashtag Protect Taylor became the top global trend. Helicopters filmed SUV convoys rushing into her Nashville mansion as paparazzi shouted questions. Some fans outside the gates cried openly, convinced she was the next target. Politicians scrambled, each spinning the event to their own agenda. Ted Cruz roared on Fox. This was political terrorism. They're trying to silence conservatives with bullets. AOC struck a different tone. No matter how divided we are, violence is never the answer. This is horrific. President Biden addressed the nation with a somber warning. We cannot allow fear to dictate our future. We must remain united. But unity collapsed instantly when whispers leaked that a U.S. senator's name was on the alleged list. 3 prominent senators canceled public appearances that same morning, citing security concerns. The silence from their camps only fueled paranoia that one of them was indeed a marked target. The entertainment industry scrambled in response. Billie Eilish canceled her tour dates. Travis Scott announced enhanced restrictions for his concerts. Even Netflix delayed a political documentary, citing respect for current events. No one wanted to risk being caught in the crossfire of what was quickly being dubbed stage terror. Brands, too, rushed to weigh in, but every move backfired. Nike tweeted, "Stand strong," with a black background, sparking accusations of clout chasing. Starbucks trended after rumors spread that a barista mocked a customer wearing a Pray for Charlie shirt. Even Netflix's delay drew criticism, praised by some, slammed by others. Every corporate statement became its own mini scandal. And then came the most chilling reaction from Kirk's own circle. Steve Bannon, visibly shaken on a live stream, declared, "Charlie wasn't the last. He was the first. This is war." His words, clipped and replayed endlessly, hardened the divide. Supporters hailed it as truth-telling. Critics condemned it as dangerous incitement. Either way, it cemented the sense that this wasn't over. But the most terrifying leak came late that night. Screenshots of the backpack maps resurfaced, allegedly marking venues in Los Angeles, New York, and Nashville. Whether authentic or planted, the message was clear: nowhere was safe. Americans began asking a haunting question: which city is next? And with that, the Utah shooting stopped being just about Charlie Kirk. It became the symbol of a looming storm. A shadow campaign targeting the country's biggest stages and brightest names. The stage had been set for the final, most horrifying twist. Because if the ghost had already fired the first shot, then who would they silence next? Just when the world thought it had seen the worst of the Utah Valley shooting, one final revelation sent shockwaves that made everything else look like a prologue. At 11:57 p.m. Less than 24 hours after Charlie, Kirk collapsed on stage. An anonymous Telegram channel posted a video that spread across the dark web before being mirrored onto Twitter. The video was only 46 seconds long, but its contents ripped through the internet like a bullet. The screen opened to black, then a distorted voice, warped and robotic, began to speak. Charlie Kirk was not the target. He was the test, a rehearsal. The opening act, static flickered. And suddenly, a map of the United States appeared, with glowing red dots over Los Angeles, New York, Washington, D.C., and Nashville. Each dot pulsed in rhythm with the voice. The real show has yet to begin. When the music stops, you will know who controls the sound. The video ended not with words, but with applause. Slow, deliberate. 5 haunting claps. The applause echoed across phones, laptops, and television screens, leaving millions of viewers frozen in fear. Was this the ghost speaking, or someone higher, pulling strings from the shadows? Nobody knew. But the chilling certainty was undeniable. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. What happened next only deepened the terror. Investigators confirmed that the video wasn't a hoax, it originated from an encrypted server routed through multiple international nodes, making it nearly impossible to trace. But digital forensics teams found something buried in the code, a hidden date, October 13th. October 13th, barely weeks away. Panic surged instantly. What was supposed to happen that day? Fans dug through schedules until one answer lit up every timeline Taylor. Swift's Eras tour date in Los Angeles. Was this a coincidence or a direct threat? Swift's team went silent, canceling all public appearances. Paparazzi footage showed armed guards doubling outside her Nashville estate. Theories swirled faster than officials could debunk them. Some insisted the ghost wasn't targeting political figures at all, but cultural icons with massive global influence. Others swore the list in the backpack had been a deliberate plan to misdirect investigators. And a darker faction whispered about something even worse, that the shooting wasn't the work of one rogue group, but the opening salvo of a worldwide campaign. Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies scrambled. The FBI, Secret Service, and Homeland Security all launched joint operations, but insiders leaked that confusion reigned. No one knew who to trust. Was the shooter alone? Was the ghost even real? Or was this a coordinated network that had already infiltrated American soil?